Alright, so today I have Evil Queen. You voted on this one uh, a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, so um, this is the one I'll be doing. The next one will be Horn King, because that one was also voted on. So, to start with Evil Queen, I don't, I don't think she's that terribly difficult, but she does have a lot of parts to her that are unique, so um, it's probably very good that we take a look at this so that I can break it down and make it easier for people to be able to learn from. So, her objective is very simple. It's just to defeat Snow White. Um, the only difference is she has to poison Snow White with her poison. So, poison is something that's unique to her. Um, it's like it's kind of like a strength thing. So, at one of your locations, you can make poison, and then you convert your power tokens that you would use to spend on cards. You would turn those into poison, and if you want to vanquish someone by poisoning them, you have to pay the power equal to their strength. So if I was defeating Snow White, I'd pay 4 to vanquish her. However, Snow White can get her strength boosted, and there are cards that can get rid of your poison, so you have to be very careful with all that. So her board is very simple. There's a lock here. So to complete her objective, you first have to get the Dwarves Cottage unlocked. So to get the Dwarves Cottage unlocked, you have to play all 4 ingredients. So ingredients are something that are kind of like they're kind of like items, but they're kind of like effects as well, because these don't really go on any location. They go here, and they also have something they can do. So I'll go over these later, but once you have all 4 of these played, you play them right under here where it says ingredients. Once you play all 4 of them, this last location becomes unlocked. So once this becomes unlocked, the goal is to get Snow White out there. Now, if you're fated, Snow White can be played there. Like if they fate you and there's nothing they can do, Snow White can be played here. But yeah, you can't get to her until your Dwarf Cottage is unlocked. So yeah, essentially when it's unlocked, because you have no allies, you have to vanquish using Take a Bite. And Take a Bite, you have a few of these in your deck. It's essentially a card that allows you to choose a hero and then pay poison equal to the strength of the hero and then defeat it. So you see Snow White's 4 strength. You have to have 4 poison. And you also have to be at her location to play Take a Bite and then do this. It only works if you're at your location. So you can't be here, just make enough poison, and then play Take a Bite to vanquish. You have to actually be at the location where that person is to do that. So that's like a brief rundown of your objective. The ingredients are not that hard to find. There's multiples in the deck for it. Yeah, you just have to have 1 of each out. You can play every ingredient that you have, which could end up being like you could have 2 of these under here, but only when you have 1 of each does that last location unlock. And they all are quite nice because they all have a special thing that they do. Some of them they do every turn, some of them only activate when they're played, so yeah, just remember these when you play them, that they're there to help you. So that's essentially the objective. Obviously, it can get a little bit more complicated when you start adding some of the fake cards into the mix. So her board is very simple. The laboratory, the only place you can make poison, that's what this icon means. When you're there, you can use that to make any amount of poison that you want. The only thing is it has to be from your power, so if you only have 5 power, you can only make 5 poison. But then if you make 5 poison, you can't play any cards that aren't free because now you've used up all of your power. So you gain a power, you can move a hero. Right, so this move a hero action is helpful if there's heroes blocking their activate actions or even your fate. It's all up to what you have to do in any sort of time, so you could actually use that to benefit yourself. If this is blocked, however, you have to poison them to get rid of them to be able to actually use that again. Yeah, that, and then you can fate someone and play a card. So this location is actually really good if you go here, because it's got a little bit of everything that you really need. You can play a card, make poison, fate to slow down the opponents, move an ally, or move a hero, and then even gain some power while you're doing it. Activate actions are pretty big in this deck. A lot of cards have activate actions, and a lot of them are very helpful. So this is important that you leave or keep open. 2 power, some discarding cards, and then play a card. The mine has 2 play cards, gain 3 power, as well as activate. So this is your standard one where it's got 2 play cards and then gain 3 power. So this one's really good at the start of the game, and it's really good always, but this is where I always go at the start of the game. Dwarves Cottage, it's locked. It says right here, unlocks once 4 different ingredients have been played, so once that's done, the lock goes away, and then you're able to discard a card, or discard a few cards here, fate, gain 1 power, and then play a card. So, yeah, so this board is pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to start going into the normal cards now. Alright, so there's 4 different types. You have Old Man's Cackle, Mummies. Alright, so there's 4 different types of ingredients. You have Mummy Dust, Old Hag's Cackle, Black of Night, and Scream of Fright. So you need to play at least 1 of each to unlock the last location. But if you absolutely wanted to and you had enough power, you could actually play all of these because all of them have benefits. But the last location unlocks when you have 1 of each. So the first one I'm going to go through is Old Hag's Cackle. Gain 1 power for each location in your realm that has a hero. So really good when your opponents are big on fading you. They give you a lot of power, but a lot of times they don't have many heroes out, so this could only really give you a few at a time. So yeah, this card just gives you power when you play it, and it only works when you play it, so it doesn't like stay through. It's not like at the start of your turn, gain 1 power for each location that has a hero. Next one, Black of Night. You may perform 1 available action at your location again, even if you've already performed that action this turn. You cannot use Black of Night to perform fate actions. So, if you were, let's say, here, you gained 3 power, you played Black of Night, you could choose to gain another 3 power, or you can choose to play another card, but it only works when you play it. So it doesn't work at the start of your turn like other things. Scream of Fright. Choose an unlocked location in your realm. You may move each hero with a strength of 3 or less from that location to an adjacent unlocked location. So this one, again, works only when played. it essentially allows you to move heroes around. So this can be helpful if you have heroes in your realm that you don't really like at that location. Like if they're blocking the mine or the woods, you can actually use it to move them away. Um, Even the laboratory, if this is blocked and you want to use that, you can actually move it over, so then you can start using that action again. So those are all different ways you can apply this. But yeah, so that's Scream of Fright. And then lastly, we have Mummy Dust. Each time you fate action targets you before your next turn, take 1 power from the supply and add it to your poison. This is a big one because every single time you get fated, you can actually use this. So you can take 1 power from the supply and add it to your poison every time you're fated. So that can actually be helpful because it limits the amount that you actually have to go make poison, because you're not actually spending your own power. You're actually just getting it from the supply. So that can be helpful for brewing poison. So that's all of the ingredients. So now I'm going to go into the only ally you have in your deck. Now, the only ally you have is Huntsman. So here is at Huntsman's location, gain -1 strength. Move Huntsman to any unlocked location with the activate. So if you activate his ability, he can go anywhere. Now, you may see that he has 4 strength. So you're wondering, well, why do you have to make him, or why do you have to poison Snow White if Snow White is 4 strength and he's 4 strength, and here's at his location get -1 strength? Now, something that you may have noticed is on the board there are no no vanquish actions. You can't actually vanquish as Evil Queen. The only way to get rid of heroes is from poisoning. So Huntsman can't be used to vanquish anybody. No cards in her deck say perform a vanquish action. The only thing you can use to get rid of heroes is take a bite. So Huntsman is there only to weaken your heroes than it is to use as something to get rid of them. So yeah, you can move them anywhere to. So if you're looking to get rid of somebody, you can actually just give them -1 strength by moving them to a location, and then you can go poison them, and you don't have to spend as much poison to vanquish. That's one usage of it. Next we have items. We have 5 items in the deck. We have Magic Tombs, Magic Mirror, Throne, and then the box. So I'll go over the box first. The box costs 2 power, and you gain 1 power for each hero in your fate discard pile, which is up to 3 power total. That's when you activate it. So if you're getting rid of a lot of heroes, the box could actually be helpful because you can actually gain a lot of power by activating it. So yeah, this card can be good. I tend to not really use it because I tend to not really have that many heroes in the discard pile. I tend to really only make enough power to poison Snow White and be done with it, but it could be helpful. Magic Mirror, each time a fate action targets you, draw a card. This can be very helpful if you're being fated a lot. It can allow you to just gain an extra card every time, as well as an activate action to pay 3 power and find Snow White in player. So if your opponents are like not playing Snow White and they're doing other things because they're like, oh, if we play Snow White, you're closer to winning. Well, the Magic Mirror also, every time you get fated, you get a little bonus from it, and you can also find Snow White in player, which goes against what your opponents are trying to do. So that could be very good. Throne, you activate, and you get to take 1 power from the supply and add it to your poison. This is a very good one, especially if you don't really have enough power to do much. You could actually just activate the throne to gain more power in your poison. So yeah, this could be very good with getting poison if you don't have it. So just make sure you use this twice for it to pay for itself. Otherwise, you're spending 1 power, which could have been going towards poison to activate. So just make sure that you actually use this twice to actually make the card worth it. Otherwise, you're kind of just breaking even, if that makes sense. So, yeah. And the last two are Magic Tomes, or Magic Tomes. Look at each of the top 4 cards of your deck. Put 1 into your hand, discard the rest. This is good for searching for specific items like a Take a Bite or an ingredient. You activate it, draw 4 cards, look through the 4, take 1, and then get rid of the rest. So, yeah. So a lot of times you could have difficult choices, like you could draw 2 ingredients that you need, or you can draw a Take a Bite and an ingredient you need. So you're going to have to make a choice to take 1 and get rid of the other. You just got to make sure that the one you choose is the right one. Like ingredients should be chosen over Take a Bite, because there are a lot more Take a Bites in your deck than there are ingredients of that type. So, yeah. And then if you're just activating it for the heck of it, like you have everything you need, you just want to spend an activate action on this. Obviously, you can just pick whatever you feel. So, yeah. This card could actually come in handy. It's come in handy a few times with finding certain cards that I need. Alright, you have 4 different types of effects, but you have a million effects in your deck. That's because a ton of them repeat. So, to start, you get 5 Take-A-Bites. 5. So, this is very good, because it's the only way to get rid of heroes, so you kind of need a lot of them. So you choose a hero at Evil Queen's location, pay poison equal to the hero's strength, and discard or defeat the hero. So, yeah, like I said, you have to have poison equal to the strength of the hero. So if the hero was 4 strength, you have to be at the location of the hero, play Take a Bite, pay 4 poison, and then that hero's gone. So, yeah. Just remember you get 5 of these in your deck, so if you discard 1 or 2, it's not that big of a deal because you have 3 others. So, yeah, just kind of remember that and keep that on the back of your mind to make sure that you know that you're not getting rid of too many of those. Next up, you have 3 Alfixias. So, Alfixia is, on this turn, you may perform actions that are covered by a hero at your location. So that's good if you want to do any of these up here if they're covered up. This even says on this turn you may perform actions that are covered by a hero. So if you play that card, you can actually do both actions under a hero. You can pretend that the hero isn't even there. So yeah, and it doesn't say that you can't fate, so you can fate if you absolutely need to. So that card's really good. It's free and you get 3 of them. So sometimes using up your pay a card or play a card action to play that actually pays off because it allows you to do a lot of things with it, like slow down your opponent or even activate certain cards that can be helpful. So Black Magic, you get to choose an item or ingredient from your deck or discard pile and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this is where if you were using this card, where you look at the top 4 cards, pick 1, discard the rest. If you drew 2 ingredients that you liked and wanted, you can choose 1, discard the other, and then you can play Black Magic to get the ingredient that you just discarded back. That's a good way to get both of them into your hand. So this is a card that really only works with items and ingredients. So, well, both the items and your ingredients are very important parts of your deck, so when they get discarded, they're kind of a big deal, so Black Magic is helpful to get them back. So, yeah, 2 power to play. Keep it in your hand if you absolutely know that you're going to be discarding something important later on, or if you know that there's something in your discard pile that you need. So Thunderbolt, duplicate the ability of an ingredient you have played. The cost to play Thunderbolt is equal to the cost of the duplicated ingredient. So this is where, if you have all the ingredients that you want down, you could actually play Thunderbolt to do another of the ability. Like you can gain a power for each location that has a hero. You can perform an available action at your location again. You could choose an unlocked location in your realm, move a hero at strength of 3 or less to any unlocked location. And you can even, you can't really do this, because when this is duplicated, it only works when you're faded. So when you're playing this card, you're not being faded, so it doesn't really work with duplication. So you really only want to redo one of these. So kind of just think about what you really want. Is there a hero that you absolutely do not want in that location? Would you rather gain more power in a turn, or redo an action that you already did? All of those things are kind of important to getting some more power and some getting rid of some of those heroes in those locations that you don't really want. Lastly, we have conditions. You have 2 sets of 2, like always, except for the new expansion because they decided to change it up. During their turn, if another player gains 3 or more power, you may play Jealousy. Take 1 power from the supply and add it to your poison. So this is really helpful. This really works on anybody, because everybody has this location. To my knowledge, I think there might actually be one that doesn't have a gain 3 power, but it really works on all of them. You just got to keep in mind, is my opponent going to be moving to a place that has 3 power? And if they do, you can keep it and then just gain 1 power from the supply and add it to your poison, or you can just get rid of it and then activate some cards that allow you to do the same thing on your turn. Every turn, so you don't have to actually think, oh, well, maybe they could be doing this. No, maybe next turn they'll do it, and then next thing you know, you're holding onto a card that really doesn't really do you any good, when you could have just activated another card to gain more poison. So the last 2 cards of your villain deck are Vanity. During their turn, if another player has 2 or more items in the realm, you may play Vanity. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, discard any of them, and return the rest to the top in any order. So this is really good against villains that have a lot of items. If they have a lot of items, you could actually use this kind of like the Magic Tombs, except kind of a backwards version of it. You actually discard the cards you don't want and then return the rest of the cards that you do want to the top of the deck in any order. So you could actually, if you draw all 3 of them and you like all 3 of them, you could actually reorder them into the order that you would rather have them, and then put them back on top. So it doesn't require you getting rid of any. You can put them any way you want. But if there's certain cards that you're just like, I don't need this at all, ever. Like, if you have all your ingredients, you don't need those anymore. You can just discard them to make room for other stuff. So this could be helpful. I'll put the list on screen of villains that it's actually helpful against. I'm going to try doing that now because I think it's more helpful to go, okay, use Evil Queen against this person to have the best effect with conditions. So, yeah. That's really good. So, yeah, that's the villain deck. Now I'm going to go into the Fate deck. So for Fate Heroes, you have a lot of them. You basically have all of the dwarves in there, and that's it. So you have the 7 dwarves plus Snow White. So the 7 dwarves I'll go into now. First one is Dopey. All other heroes in Evil Queen's realm gain 1 strength. Um, so I'll actually go into Snow White now as well. So Snow White can only be played to the Dwarves Cottage even if it's locked. So if you're faded and your opponent can only play Snow White, she can be played to the Dwarves Cottage, even if it's the beginning of the game and it's locked. So Snow White gains 1 strength for each other hero in Evil Queen's realm. So right now, if both of these are in her realm, she'll have 6 power because Dopey gives her +1, and she gives herself +1 because Dopey's in there. So, yeah. So these two are a combo that you don't really like because now you're paying 6 power to boost Snow White. So, yeah. That's one. Sleepy. If Sleepy is revealed during a fate action, you may play both cards revealed during that action. So this one could actually be bad as well because, yeah, it could actually mess you up because instead of being faded once, you're actually being faded twice. So you gotta you gotta make sure that Sleepy's gone from that deck, but you can't really do anything about it. So you gotta hope that he doesn't get played. Sneezy. When Sneezy is played, you may discard 1 item from his location. So if you have any of your items here, box, magic mirror, throne, or magic tombs, if Sneezy's played, we'll just sneeze those items right off the board. So you got to make sure that the items that you play are something that you're not really too reliant on, and you better, like, when you play them, start using them right away because they can go away at any moment. So don't wait on them. Bashful. Evil Queen must pay 1 power to perform the Brew of Poison action. So this is actually very good against you because if you wanted to change 4 power into poison, you can only make 3 poison because you have to pay 1 power to perform the Brew of Poison action. So instead of just turning all 4 in, you have to pay 1 and then turn the rest into it. So that could actually be detrimental to your game, and it happens every time you brew poison. So the best option to counter Bashful is, if you don't really want to get rid of Bashful, try and pile up all the power you want and then in one go make poison. Don't try and make poison at 2 or 1 at a time because you're going to be discarding so much more power than if you just saved up 10 and then turned those 10 into 9 poison. So Doc, Evil Queen must defeat Doc for defeating other heroes. This is a very similar ability to a lot of other heroes and other decks. It's also kind of similar to Captain Hook's Taunt. You can't defeat Snow White until you defeat Doc, so if Doc is played, you have to brew poison to defeat Doc, or just use the poison you brewed to defeat Doc. He's best if you just get him out of the way as soon as possible because he doesn't really do much besides make it harder to defeat other heroes. So just get him out of the way so that you can defeat anyone you want when they come up. Next is Happy. When Happy's played, Evil Queen loses poison equal to the number of heroes in her realm. So this could actually be bad if you're not managing your heroes and you're just letting them all pile up. Next thing you know, Happy gets played and then all the poison you worked hard to get is gone because now you've lost it. So the max you can lose is 8 poison because there's only 8 heroes, but the chances of you having all 8 of those heroes out is slim to none, and if you do have all 8 heroes out, I would have just given up because all of the different things that they do basically render literally anything you do useless because now all of your locations are most likely blocked. You're not gaining much power because your gain 1 power and gain 2 power locations are blocked. Poison costs 1 more to make, and everyone's being boosted strength. Like Snow White gains 1 strength for each other hero in the realm, so at max you can have 13 strength, which trying to gather 13 poison from the mine in Dwarves Cottage can be a pain. There's also just tons of other stuff, like Dopey giving everyone else +1 strength, so everyone else is even stronger. So actually, Evil or Snow White can have 14. And if everyone's stronger, it means more poison, which means bouncing back between 3 and 1, and also paying a power to make poison. Just having everyone out would be a pain. So make sure you're vanquishing, or I shouldn't say vanquishing, but make sure you're getting rid of heroes as they come up. So Grumpy, he gets +1 strength if there are no heroes at this location. So he likes to be on his own. If this is how it is, Grumpy's here, and Evil Queen's, or Snow White's here for whatever reason. She's here now. Grumpy gains +1 strength. However, if someone else is played to his location, he doesn't get that. He's just 3 strength. So, yeah, that's about all the heroes. You got Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Now you have 4 effects, 2 different types. Woodland Creatures. Evil Queen must reveal her hand and choose a card from her hand to discard. Yeah, so this card is as bad as it sounds. If you have take-a-bites or ingredients in your hand, pretty much be ready to say goodbye to them, because a lot of times that's what they'll choose. So yeah, you get to show your hand to someone else so they know what all 4 cards you have, and then they get rid of 1. So now they know the other 3 cards in your deck, so they know, okay, you have 2 take-a-bites, or they know you have no ingredients. So now I know that. So basically they use it to know a lot of things about you. Like if you have all 3 ingredients and you're only looking for 1, and they discard that 1 from your hand, they know they have a few turns to work on themselves and not really fate you, because you don't have the other ingredient to get moving on with your goal. If they discard the only take-a-bite from your hand and they were paying attention, they're looking through the discard pile, because the discard pile is public. They look through it and they go, okay, I just discarded the last take-a-bite. So now you have to go all the way back through your deck. They have a lot more time on their hands. They can use it to basically gain intel on what you have and what you can do. So if you're playing against Evil Queen, it's really best that you really, really get to know her deck, so that you know, with Woodland Creatures, what she can do without certain cards. So that gives you the best chance of being able to work on your own goal without having to rely on fading your opponent. So the last effect is Love's First Kiss. Evil Queen loses a poison. That's just very blunt. You just get rid of a poison, and then you choose a hero from Evil Queen's Fate discard pile and put it back to the top of the Fate deck. So the best cards that I would say they would possibly choose, best meaning most painful for Evil Queen, would probably be Doc. He would be a big one, because you have to get rid of him again to get rid of someone else. If they wanted to get rid of another item from your board, Sneezy could be a pain. And then Bashful's another big one. So then maybe Dopey. So those are the ones that they're most likely going to take back and put them on the top of your deck, so that when they do this, next time you're probably going to get hit with a dwarf. So actually, that's a good way to know and plan ahead. So if you know that they're going to put Bashful back on the board, where you have to pay an extra power to make poison, before they fate you, try and make all the poison that you want, so that you know how to do it. And also, if they're going to play Doc, so that you have to get rid of other heroes, or get rid of him before anybody else, make sure you brew poison and get rid of Doc right away, so that basically that fate wasn't really that big, because you were prepared for it, because you know which one they're putting on top. So next up we have items. We have Pickaxe and the Wishing Well. So the Pickaxe is when Pickaxe is played to attach to a hero, that hero gains +2 strength. So yeah, obviously they're most likely going to go on Snow White, or they can even go on to Doc to make him stronger. So, yeah, that can be a pain because, like I said before, Snow White with all 7 dwarves out, she's at plus 14 strength, or she's at 14 strength. With those 2 added on, she's at 18, which basically at that point I wouldn't even be trying anymore because that is a lot to have to deal with. And then Wishing Well. When Wishing Well is played, attach it to a hero. Each time Evil Queen moves to this location, she immediately loses 1 poison. So that could be pretty bad, especially if it's played to a hero that's at a location that you need to go a lot. Like, if it's played to a hero here, that can be bad. Because now, every time you go here to brew poison, you lose 1. So, yeah. The fate cards are actually pretty bad. But that's kind of makes it more balanced because Evil Queen is a slightly easier villain because she has so many of the ingredients and she has a lot of opportunities to make poison. So, all in all, it really balances out for me. So, that's pretty much all there is to her deck and fate deck. I'm now going to go into my specific strategy for trying to win as her. So, obviously, the first thing that you really always want to do is unlock that last location. So, right off the bat, you're looking for these cards. You're looking for 1 of each. So, when you're going through your deck, you got to make sure that you're searching it and you're discarding cards that you don't need. So, like, your conditions aren't really necessary, so you can just discard those because at the beginning of the game, they're not really going to be doing those things. All the while, you're trying to just gain power. You should gain tons of power to be able to turn into poison. Just remember you have 5 of these, so if you get rid of 1 or 2, it's not that big of a deal, but it's really up to you what you want to do. But yeah, just search for these, discard cards, use magic tombs if you have them. Just get through your deck to find these. Just try and do that first before anything else, because you can't do anything else with it. So once you have all these out, I'll just do that for right now. Hopefully by the time you have all those out, you've been hoarding power, and maybe even turning some of that into poison, because at the beginning of the game, when your opponents are less likely to fate you, you're trying to build up as much poison before they fate you, because the more poison you have, the more you can actually do with getting rid of heroes. So make sure you have your more... Well, now I have all 4 of those unlocked, so that's gone. So make sure you just brew a ton of poison towards the beginning of the game. But keep in mind that you need some power kept to yourself so you can play these ingredients as well as play some of the other cards like the items. So, yeah. Make sure you use these to get through your deck faster, find cards that you need. Yeah, Magic Mirror is another really good investment because if your opponent isn't fading you and you have everything else ready for you, Magic Mirror can be very good because you can actually get Evil Queen out, or not the Evil Queen, Snow White out there, and when Snow White's out, it's really easy to just move, play, take a bite, and then vanquish. So, yeah. At the beginning of the game, my goal is to get these, and then if I find Magic Mirror, make sure I just play it, because it'll always be helpful. And then, while once I basically have enough power to play all these, I start turning everything else that I have into poison, because poison is more important to vanquishing. So yeah, so once you make a ton of poison, like I'd say 10 is a safe number, because Snow White would need to have a lot of other bonus stuff to get her up to 10. So it's a safe number. Plus, if Doc gets played, you can get rid of Doc and then get rid of Snow White, all under 10 power, assuming there's nothing else on the board. So that can be very helpful. So once you have about 10 poison, I'd say maybe stop with that and then consider doing other things, like either just trying to play other cards. But if you have 10 poison, or even if you have 4, and you know that, or and your opponent's not really paying attention, you could just play or activate the magic mirror to get Snow White, and then just take a bite. So yeah. Keep in mind you even have a huntsman too that can weaken them, so you can actually put him with Snow White to weaken Snow White to 3, if you wanted to do that. So yeah, get rid of any dwarves that pop up, because they can be dangerous if they're all together. So just make sure that you have excess poison. Yeah, that's pretty much the strategy. Is really just poison, poison, poison. Make sure you get enough. Make sure you save power for it. Don't really go on a spending spree just getting all of these cards that aren't really helpful in the end. Really play only the cards you need. If you absolutely need something like the throne or something like the box, you can go ahead and do it. It's really up to you. The thing with Evil Queen is she's very situational, so there's not a lot of in this situation do this, but a lot of the situations that come up with heroes is best solved with poison. So yeah, main objective is basically getting poison, and then make sure all 4 of these are played. So gain poison and play all 4 of these at the same time, because while this location is locked, you're basically going to be bouncing between these 2 locations to gain enough power, as well as be able to shred through your deck fastest, because you have 2 play cards and you have a discard here. So that doing this every 2 turns you're gaining 5 power, so it can be very helpful to making a ton of poison. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or need any more clarification, or you even would like some more in-depth looks at certain cards, just let me know in the comments, and I'll for sure make something like a bonus video for a certain card in the deck that didn't really get explained well in this, or for someone that needs more help, I can probably make a video describing a certain situation more. So yeah, that's basically Evil Queen. Just gain power, make poison, have all 4 ingredients, move to her location, and vanquish. In my experience, she doesn't really have that difficult of a time winning. She almost always wins when she's played, because she can just be so fast, even though she has a lot that she has to do. That's really only because she can gain so much power and turn all that power into poison. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Yeah, go to my Reddit page. It's linked below. It's very helpful because it has all the good stuff in it, like all the polls that made this Evil Queen video get made, because they got voted for. So yep, next week's gonna be Horn King. Look forward to that. There'll be another poll for who I should make after Horn King, and then yeah, I'm going to say thank you again for 100 subs. Huge milestone that I'm grateful to have made. Yeah, so that's about it. Thank you for watching.